Hi, Dr. Lindsey here. Let me take you through a 39 or 40-year-old guy that's back from out of town for a second case, and he does a little interview. So last year, this fella did a video chat with me from Colorado, and he looked like he was ultimately going to be a class 5 hair loss, probably the last thing to go being his tuft. And so he came in and we did the front 50% of his head. We got 2,900 grafts. He had no trouble as he stayed for a week, went back home. He's a real outdoorsman. His wife's very active. They're hiking all the time. And he went to the gym almost immediately upon getting back to Colorado. And I know this because he's been showing patients the past couple of days since he's been here for his second case. Selfies from the gym showing how the scar was no problem, that he was able to wear a hat and stuff like that. And so then he sent pictures in a couple of months, and we told him his scar looked okay. And then sometime around 8 or 9 months, we figured we'd plan the second case. And in general, when we do a second case, we're working, obviously where we didn't work before, but almost always we try to add a few hairs to the hairline, because no matter how good the hairline is, you always need a few more hairs at the hairline, because remember, you're planting trees or hairs in discrete holes, and the roots have some discrete amount of volume to them, and so you have to leave a little skin and dermis between each root so that there's blood vessels and nutrients can get to the hair. And so almost always we need to add a few hairs to the hairline if you're getting a second case. And probably half the time guys say, do less in my crown and lower my hairline. Not the case in this man, but we added a few hairs to his hairline at the second case and addressed his crown. And so he did this little interview. All right, Steve, how old a fellow are you?
I am 39.
And I met you about a year ago, and you flew in from Colorado, and we did a case on you, did a frontal U, leaving that tuft, and here's your before pictures. And it's been right around a year, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And any kind of bullshit I pulled on you? Was happy?
No, did a great job.
And how much did the whole thing hurt? Do you remember?
Very painless. I really didn't feel much of anything.
Okay, so I'm just going to comb your hair. In fact, you take your comb and run the comb through your hair.
Okay.
Perfect. And then, yeah, get those two corners. Perfect. Now bend over one time. So you're back today for us to put some hair right there.
Correct.
And then can you stand up and turn around and let me get the back of your head?
Sure.
So you've got a pretty short haircut, and all these guys worry. Let me see that comb a second, please. You got a pretty short haircut, and all these guys worry about the scar. Has the scar been any kind of problem for you?
No.
There it is. I mean, it's pretty hard to find. I suspect you'll get the same scar today because we'll cut that one out. And turn back around and sit down, please. So, anything that you think people that are looking at this ought to know? I mean, why'd you come here? Up front?
So I had researched several hair transplant doctors across the nation. I came across Dr. Lindsey, looked at a lot of the reviews. He had a great reputation, and I really saw the minimalness on the scarring, so how thin it was, and I was super impressed, so I decided to come and do a consultation with him. And after talking with him and Lindsey, I decided to go with Dr. Lindsey, and it's been a great experience ever since.
All right, man. Thank you so much for your business last year and coming back today.
Yep, thank you.
And it's okay to use your face on YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
See ya. So I can tell you, his second case went just as well as the first case. He's now 2 days out from his procedure. We got, as always, we almost get about 500 grafts less on the second case because the strip stretches a little bit, and generally we want fewer single hair grafts. And so he got 2,900 last year and 2,450 or so grafts this year. And he's staying for a week and getting cleaned. And he should really go well. The problem is we'll never probably see him again. They don't have any reason to come back to the East Coast. And he's a fun guy to hang out with. And so we'll miss seeing this fellow. But this is a great example of a guy with average hair. It's not real thick. It's not real thin. Who's class 5, who almost certainly with 2 cases will cover almost all of his balding scalp. He's a young fella. He may get a little more hair loss in his crown, which he may or may not ultimately do anything on. He is not on medicines. He does not like the potential side effects of erectile dysfunction, general malaise, and decreased sex drive that roughly 3 or 4% of people on finasteride get. with 1% being permanent. So again, I get asked all the time, how many of our patients are on that? And the answer is 8%. And that seems low. And so the cynics online will say, it's because Lindsey's so greedy, he doesn't want anybody on that stuff so they get balder. The real fact of the matter is that with a 1% chance of permanent erectile dysfunction and 3% chance of significant side effects, I let the patient make an informed decision, and roughly 8% of our patients take Propecia. We've been doing this 28 years. If we can help you, please give us a call. Thank you.